Hi, everybody. Alright, you guys heard about how Saudi Arabia threatened financial terrorism of basically selling all the U.S. stocks and bonds. I think it was something like $975 billion worth of U.S. bonds if the United States went through with uh, telling everybody what actually happened on 9/11. Well, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this story has actually hit CNN. And I wanted to see what the aftermath was about this, and I wanted to see what would actually happen. That's why I didn't cover it in the beginning. And the White House, it wants to now veto the actual bill that would allow, uh, everything to come out. And basically, they're going to veto the 9/11 lawsuit bill. And yes, the bill was brought on by a lawsuit. Basically, as you can see here, folks, there's a lot of stuff that happened. Bipartisan bill to let families victimized by 9/11 terrorist attacks sue Saudi Arabia ran into sharp setbacks Monday as White House threatened a veto and GOP senator privately sought to block the measure. Why? Because they don't want them to sue Saudi Arabia. Because they know Saudi Arabia did it, but you know what? It was U.S. led as well. And basically the idea was, and I'm not going to tell you this here, I don't think, but basically Saudi Arabia said they would sell all the U.S. stocks and bonds, and we would be almost an instant financial collapse if this situation went through, because they don't want to be involved in 9/11. Well, they were to one degree or another. I'm certain if you track back the money and everything else, Israel was involved, the Vatican was involved. I mean, the vaults of the Twin Towers, ladies and gentlemen, had something like $3.2 trillion worth of assets. Not to mention how Building 7 fell, oddly enough. So this was a world scheme, not just one country aiding another. And now it's basically coming back, and basically it says here, if Saudi Arabia participated in terrorism, of course they would be able to be sued. And it basically goes in and says the bill would allow a suit to go forward and the victims of terrorism to go to court to determine if Saudi government participated in terrorist attacks. And if the Saudis did, they should pay a price. That's on CNN, folks. And basically the reporter was Josh Earnest on Monday. And I'm not going to go into that because that basically has to do with that. And I wanted to talk about we know Saudi Arabia was involved. And it's basically come down to, if they don't veto this bill, they're going to sell the $970-some billion. And basically it's going to cause the U.S. financial collapse. So now it's come full circle around. And now we got to basically partner up with the guys that did 9/11, or the country that allowed it to happen. Let's just say that way. No doubt Bush and the rest were participants on a grander scale, but this is all they're willing to come out with, folks. And if we don't, Saudi Arabia is basically going to bankrupt the United States in hours. Boy, that's kind of weird, isn't it? They're talking about financial collapse, and all of a sudden the big banks are talking about living wills and stuff, and now it's come full circle to say that if we talk about what really happened during 9/11 and hold the actual country responsible, they're going to do a terrorist attack on the United States. And what's happening? The United States government is allowing this bill to be vetoed rather than say, you know what? Screw it, let it happen. Well, they're covering their own asses because, let's be honest, Rumsfeld, Bush, Cheney, all those guys are still alive and kicking. They got another probably 10 years left. And I'd love to know what role Soros and Rothschild played in that one. I imagine Soros probably a minor role, oddly enough. But who was it? Steinbeck or what? Trying to think of the guy who bought the towers before 9/11 happened, and that guy I think died, but he made like $4.8 billion on the insurance scheme that he pulled. So this is actually going to happen, folks. The cards are being dealt, and it's just a matter of time before somebody, makes it happen. Right now they're playing Jenga. Everybody's removing their pieces and they're waiting for the whole deck or the whole game to basically crumble and all the pieces to fall to the ground. And now Saudi Arabia is saying, well, if you do this, this is going to happen. And look, I have this on Anon News, and this is basically what they're saying. Saudi Arabia threatens financial terror if held responsible for September 11 attacks. So there's that one too. I'll just knock out two birds with one stone here. They might not allow me to do this, but you guys can see this. So, thanks guys. I can't do anything. They've already frozen my computer. I can't even go down. See? Oh, maybe I can. I doubt it. Alright. So, this is the situation. I'm going to try to recover this. Alright. And let's see here. I'm trying to find out what this actually says. Alright, here's some good information on the Saudi Arabia issue. US District Judge George Daniels had previously ruled Saudi Arabia had sovereign immunity through 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi, while Iran ordered to pay $10.5 billion, even though there is no evidence Tehran was even involved. So that's how they kind of flipped the bill on that. So the Senate bill they're referring to, I think, is the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act. And basically, U.S. District Judge George Daniels ruled that the Saudis had immunity in the United States for 15 of the 19 hijackers and were Saudi, while Iran was ordered to pay the $10.5 billion, even though there was no evidence Tehran was involved in 9/11. So this is even bigger, folks. Thank you.